Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today I have the good fortune to be joined by Greg D'Alessandro, the CEO and editor-in-chief of Weekly World News, a media company founded back in 1979 with over 100,000 stories and 300 characters in their library. Greg, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on, Seth. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, now you are a prolific writer, producer, director, and musician. How did you end up at Weekly World News?
Well, yeah, I was a writer out in L.A. for a long time, and I was pitching stories to National Lampoon at the time, and somebody at the Lampoon went to work for Weekly World News, and they remembered me and some of my ideas. So I started writing for Weekly World News stories, and it just grew from there. I kept, I wrote a bunch of stories when it was in print, and then it went online, and I wrote many stories. I think I wrote a total of about 5,000 stories for Weekly World News over the years. So when it went to relaunch in 2019, at the end, we just started this relaunch. I was the one they pegged to lead the rebirth, since I had created a lot of the content.
That is absolutely incredible, and obviously it gives new meaning to the word prolific.
Yeah.
Tell us about the rebirth. What is Weekly World News now known for?
Okay, well, right now, we're known still for the legacy brand, all the Bat Boy and the characters that we've had. So now we are, it's taken a little bit, especially with the challenges of the pandemic, but we are, we have an online weeklyworldnews.com, a website. Social media is we have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, of course. We just started a YouTube channel, and another lane that we're focusing on is entertainment, TV, podcasts, film, which is an area we've been focusing on a little bit. So that'll help exposure and get the brand back out there, to people, which would help, the online and everything. Because when I was in LA, a lot of times I was pitching stories, and people would say, what else have you worked on, or are we working on? I would mention Weekly World News every now and then. They were always interested in it. So that's why we've been, pushing hard in that. We have a lot of interest. We have a company that's working with us for a podcast. We have an independent film we're working on, and a TV series that's being pitched starting in about a week. So there's a lot of interest in the characters. And so I guess right now, at the moment, we're still we got past the beginning part of the relaunch, just getting it back working again, because it had been dormant for 4 years. So just up and just alive again. And now we're trying to move into the, growing it and getting one of these entertainment properties locked down.
That is fascinating. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I love interacting with our fan base right now. We have a lot of, it's incredible. We have a lot of fans. They're very active on Facebook, which is where we have our most followers right now, 140,000, but they're very active. And just to hear the stories of people that, how much Weekly World News meant to them in the 90s when they're growing up and earlier, and, how it's a place to go right now that's not political, and it's just kind of fun. and silly, and people seem to enjoy it. So I really like that, and it's very creative. I'm working with some good writers and great imagination. So I like dealing with the writers and the people. That's what I enjoy most.
You're producing content about aliens, mutants, bad boys, zombies, all kinds of things.
Right.
Where do the ideas come from?
Well, that's always a good question. It's we sit around and when Wicked World News started, it was based on it was an offshoot of the National Enquirer. So which started, the National Enquirer started in 1952, 1979. They went to color printing presses. So they had these black and white printing press still available. So they wanted to use them. And they had been collecting a lot of bizarre stories, a guy finding a, 23-foot grasshopper or something, And they had saved a bunch of these stories. They didn't really fit into the National Enquirer. So they started putting them together, these stories. So that's when it started, like just bizarre true stories. And then in the 80s, they had Elvis Was Alive. That was kind of the first one that kind of broke through, that said Elvis was alive. And then it kind of went from there, expanding to, dialing up some truth and some exaggeration in there. And then they created characters like Bat Boy and Manigator and PhD Ape and all that. So a lot of the ideas come from the basis of the characters, rooted in the characters, or creating new characters. We do a lot of cryptids, and then just, coming up with ideas that would fit our brand, which is kind of directed towards, middle America, not really either the coast, but just everyday people who do crazy stories and that people like, about aliens and cryptids, stuff like that. Yeah.
So in a world that's inundated by the media, in a world where people are complaining about fake news, you're doing it on purpose to a certain extent. Talk a little bit about, the entertainment value of all of that. I mean, you're writing stories, you're talking about TV and film. Will there be a Weekly World News studio? I mean, talk a little bit about the plan for the future.
Yeah, the plan, we were just talking last week, we want to form a Wicked World News, Productions, which is what we're trying to do, because we've had a lot of interest in LA, as I said, but a lot of times we have a middle person between us, because we're relaunching. And so they're like, well, you're just so small and everything. But now we saw that, that takes a long time to get stuff done in Hollywood. So now we're just actively, with our representation, going out and creating these stories on our own and taking them directly to studios, directly to production companies. That's the goal right now. I forgot the first part of your question,
That's okay.
No, it's okay. Yeah. No.
What is it, do you think, that has recaptured people's interest? Why are they so fascinated with, your characters and your stories now?
When you mentioned fake news, which we call the F word, we don't like to use it, because everything we write is 100% true, right, all the time. So I think that, it's a funny thing, because we were like fake news before there was fake news, So now it's come around where, like, the media, some people think either whatever side you're on is considered fake news. So now they're coming back to us because it's we're overtly like, not, if you read it, it's like exaggerated, not true and everything. So people seem to think that it's fun, playful fake news, so is, fake news, So I think people are coming back to, they there's just not a lot of places that are apolitical, that are fun and silly. I think maybe that also in the comedy world. See, people are both taking sides, and some people have told us that we should pick either the right or the left, which is sort of like the Onion territory, or the right, which is Babylon Bee now, right? But then, then we're associated with that. You turn off the whole other side. So we're trying to be in the middle and to generate an audience that way, which, has its challenges. There's all sorts of challenges, but we're trying to navigate our way through it all.
It sounds like you're doing a great job. Where you've overcome some adversities along the way, what do you think some of the most important lessons you learned were?
Oh my God. Well, I think we have to adapt we have to really adapt to the changing times and what's going on in technology wise, and also, you know, content wise and world wise. Like some of the content in the 90s that Weekly World News published, even in the early 2000s, it's not appropriate now. You know, it's just as the world has changed, and we got to be, you know, sensitive to everything. So we're walking a fine line a lot of times on the content, you know. So we have to be much more aware of that. And also technology, things are changing so rapidly. Like, we don't have a presence on TikTok yet, so maybe we should have a TikTok. We have this agreement with Firework. I don't know if you've ever heard of Firework TV. They have short video content that's, it's not like a platform, but it goes, you know, you put on short videos on your website, and then it goes around the internet. So it's kind of sits on your website. So we have a partnership with them. So we put little short videos on our website, and then they can also be put other places on the internet. So we're open to other new technologies such as that. And I think learning that everything is there, each platform takes a lot of work. Like YouTube, we also started, but that's a big project, YouTube, you know. Instagram is like, you know, it seems like, oh, you just post, but that's a big project too. And I think the biggest thing we've learned is that we need promotion and marketing. We need money and time put into promotion and marketing, because, you know, like Facebook, we have Facebook, but they only, if we have 140,000 people, they only show our posts to like 10%.
Right, you got to
So
write.
now we got to reach the rest of them, and that's a challenge. Just knowing Facebook, you know, just knowing Facebook's a challenge. Same thing with Instagram, and same thing with our website. Even in 2012, we had some months we had 1 million visitors a month, and we're just trying to get back there. It's a struggle, because Google has all these like rules now too, right? And we're trying to please Google, and we're trying to please Facebook. That seems to be one of the things we're trying to do all the time. But yeah, marketing and promotion would be, that's the phase we're in now, is trying to figure out how are we going to do this the best way. Because so some people say, oh, you just spend $200 a post on Facebook and boost each post, you know, and that'll get you to where you want to be, you know, 600,000. But I don't know if that works. I mean, that might work for some products. I don't know if that's going to work for us. And then, yeah, it all seems like a gamble, because we don't have a big budget right now. So it's like, do we put money there, or, you know, do we put it on Instagram, or should we build a newsletter? You know, a lot of people are looking at the newsletter, so then maybe we don't need Facebook or Google. We have like, you know, eventually, you know, you build up your newsletter. I think we have like 7,000 now, but if we build it up to, you know, 100, 200,000, maybe we're not as reliant on Facebook, or, you know, there's a lot to learn.
Yes, you are walking the marketing tightrope. I will tell you, don't boost posts. It's a waste of money. You're just handing Zuckerberg money. There is a much better way to get engagement than boosting a post. We've been through that for many, many years.
Oh, okay.
You are such a prolific storyteller. What are some of the stories that you read? What inspires you?
Oh, well, I've always, you know, I read everything, but I have like science fiction and comedy. I read a lot of, you know, comedy and just general fiction. I read a lot of fiction. So I mean, I've been influenced by everything. I also was a musician for a long time, so I listen to a lot of music all day and play all the time. Still write music. So and I look at our competition all the time. I read The Onion, Babylon Bee every day, Waterford Whisper News, Hard Times. I read them all. You know, I read everything, because I'm just trying to be educated in everything. And I do like listening to podcasts. I listen to everybody I can to get anything that could help me, you know, move this thing along, you know. So.
Awesome. Well, we know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you sharing some of it with us. This has been Seth Greene with Greg D'Alessandro of weeklyworldnews.com. Anything else you want to share that I didn't think to ask you?
No, I think the only other things we have, you know, people would probably recognize Bat Boy. That's our signature character, right? And we just printed a new print edition called Greatest Covers, limited edition, which you can get off of our website or Facebook. So maybe we'll be back in print too sometime.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on what you've done. You've accomplished a ton. I can't wait to see what you do next. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much, Seth. Thank you.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.